What is good, everyone? Welcome live to episode number 1 of the podcast that nobody asked for, but everybody needs, man. We are here, My Damn Creators. I am MDT, Trey, My Damn Toys, whatever you want to say. And I have my incredible co-host here with me today. We have Nate, WSC Stage Creator. How we doing, bud?
Good, man. Glad to be here. Happy for this collab to get going. We've been teasing it for a while. My name, if you don't know, is Nathan Nate Dog. I am WSC Stage Creator, most known for my action figure fed and my action figure matches over on my channel. And we're here to talk all things wrestling action figures. What have you got for us, Trey?
Yeah, man. So this is something we've talked about a little bit for a while. You know, we've been friends for years now, it seems, been around the community a very long time. I felt like, this is a pretty good opportunity to take two people together. You know, I brought you the idea. You said, sounds incredible. We started throwing ideas around, and now here we are. And we're excited, man. Today is the first episode, and we have a topic for each episode. And today's topic is going to be the state of WWE figure collecting in 2026, which can be controversial depending on which side of the coin you're on. But I'm excited, man. I'm ready to roll. I can't wait to show everybody what we got here.
Yeah, an exciting episode for sure. Can't wait to kick off this journey of My Damn Creators. And yeah, let's get right into it. What do we have?
All right, man. So what we're going to do is we have segments. All right. So we're going to have different segments throughout the show. Some of them will be staples. Some of them will change here and there. And we'll, of course, tell you those things as we go through. But one of our staple features here, and something that should get, both of us talking back and forth, is going to be agree, disagree. This segment is going to be, I've seen it on other podcasts that I've watched beforehand. And it's basically where we have a prompt. So it'll be a random prompt. It could be, the Ultimate Edition Series John Cena is the best John Cena figure ever made. And then me and Nate, or on the count of 3, we're going to hold up a card. We have a card here. It says agree.
Got them ready.
Or disagree. Yours looks way more official than mine. Mine looks like it's written by a kindergartner. But you know what I'm saying? We'll hold up the thing. So I'll say the prompt. We'll say 1, 2, 3. And we'll hold up our side. And then if I agree and he disagrees, well, then we'll have a little debate back and forth. But, maybe it's where we both agree. Maybe not. We'll add some nugget information. And we got some good ones here, man. I'm excited.
All right. What are we going to start off with?
All right, man.
I'm ready.
Agree, disagree. The first prompt of the entire show forever is going to be QC is worse than it's ever been in the history of WWE Mattel. So quality control is the worst it's ever been in 2026 compared to, I feel like I already know where this one's going, but all right, here we go.
Here we go. All right.
Here we go. 1, 2. Oh. No, it's all right. It's fine.
I jumped the gun.
Yeah, you jumped. It's fine. Yeah, I mean,
I felt so strongly about
it. Yeah, there you go, brother. I mean, it's not even. I honestly, if we have guests on and they say disagree, they're capping. They're capping because the quality control has been just out of hand, man. It's been out of hand between the different, the paint scuffs, the loose shoulders, the people getting wrong head sculpts on figures I've seen across socials. What's been your experience?
My experience is that for me, especially since I film action figure matches, I'm posing these figures all the time. And what I'm dealing with a lot these days is very loose joints, especially in the legs, and very tight joints in the legs, in the hips in particular. And it is just so annoying. It is completely just way off from where they were a few years ago. And yeah, the quality's dipped down. I think it's because of that change to Vietnam in the manufacturing. And every figure now, you never get a perfect figure when you get it. It's like you have to buy 2 or 3 to get a perfect paint on your figure. It's so annoying. I get so many paint scuffs on all my figures. What about you, Trey? What do you think about all of what I just 100%.
Said? It's most definitely, it's the factory change, man. That's when we kind of saw that shift. I think it was San Diego Comic-Con 2023, maybe 24. I think it was 24. Whenever we got the Seth Rollins WrestleMania 39, that WrestleMania wave, I remember that kind of being the first wave that I remember being the new factory. Because remember Seth Rollins' skin tone was a little more saturated. the pinless
Yep.
joints. It was a little bit, I don't know, man. And
Missing the tattoo as well.
missing the
Although it's
tattoo.
a
Yeah, it just
designer
seems,
choice, I think.
yeah, possibly. It's just there's just so many things where it's just gotten ridiculous. And I know that, it's not necessarily the designers, it's kind of out of their hands. This is something that's, way, way above
Yeah.
them. But yeah, I mean, quality control, it's not even a debate. You can't even have a debate. It's probably
No.
one of the top things that people comment, on my videos, your videos, I have this, this pain issue, or I found this figure I really wanted and his eye was on his forehead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the True FX like printing, I feel like that gets misprinted all the time, especially on the eyes, and that is just one of the worst things ever. Like getting a figure, a new head scan you're really excited for, and then you get the figure and it's misprinted in the eyes, and then you got to buy another one just to get a perfect figure. If you're lucky, if the second one is even lucky enough to have a perfect print. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
that comes in, when you're like ordering online, then you're cooked.
especially yeah.
Yeah, you're cooked, because if you buy a figure, let's say I got like 2 Ultimate Cenas. Well, let's say, I only ordered one, and the eyes, if you misprint the eyes by literally 2%, it'll look like he's
Yeah.
cross-eyed, So you're really playing with fire right there, and the quality control cannot be overstated. It's definitely a agree for me on
Yeah.
that one. Let's move in. You ready for prompt number 2?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. Prompt 2. Mattel is currently making the best wrestling action figures of all time. This is like history of wrestling figures. This is all makes or models, jacks, etc. Here we go. You ready? 3,
Alrighty.
3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Agree.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't know where you were going to go there. The thing is, man, like obviously we all grew up with jacks. We all had our jacks days. And even
Yep.
Mattel in the later or the earlier years of Mattel, 2010, whatever, it just is like, I don't know. They obviously had great figures, but I think with the innovations and stuff, you can talk about QC and price and stuff. Yes, those things are absolutely issues. But in terms of everything combined together, I would say that they're probably the best wrestling figures today than we've seen.
Yeah, granted they have, the technology of today compared to, Jack's, but
That's a
there
good
was a
point.
very noticeable shift in, going from Jack's figures to Mattel in the size of the figures, which was a much more realistic size, and the articulation. You had the deluxe aggression, I think that was what it was called, but they
Mhm.
were just way too big. And yeah, the Mattel figures definitely stepped it up a notch, and they've had so many great innovations over these past few years. So I definitely say they're the best figures of all time. But are they regressing? We'll might have to have a little bit of a discussion on that. But 100% Mattel figures for WWE are the best of all time to this point. I would
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah, I think so. I think that I don't think that's a hot take. You may have like some hot takes here and there. I don't think that is one of the hot takes. You could talk about price again. You could talk about the quality. Figures coming, whatever. I mean, yeah. I mean, they're still the best, the most detailed, the most realistic. I mean, you
Yep,
get some figures sometimes, and it looks like you're holding the wrestler in your hand. So
for
I mean,
sure.
it's crazy. But we're moving on to prompt 3. Are you ready for prompt 3?
I'm ready. Let's go. This is fun.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Playability is the best that it's ever been. So this is, I guess, playability. Would this be in terms of play like kids, like you can smash them together, or is this what's your mind go to when you think of playability?
I feel like, obviously, there are adults out there who, play with the figures. I do videos sometimes where I'm, manipulating the figures, playing with the figures on camera. But I'm talking about like if you're a kid today and you're picking up a figure and you want to, play with them and you want to have the most fun with them, is today the most playable? Like, is it the best playability for your action figures in the modern day? So let's see, agree or disagree. Count it down.
Ooh, this is a tough one, I think. All
It
right,
is
here
a
we go.
tough one.
3, 2, 1, go. Really? Really? Okay. So what's your
I disagree that it's the most playable. Now, if you were talking about Mattel figures a few years ago, I might have a different answer. But today with the QC issues, I'm really worried about like this next generation of, it all starts with the kids in figure collecting. We all, especially WWE and, figure collecting, it all goes hand in hand, and you get them when they're younger. And I'm a little worried that this generation of kids is going to open up a figure and then they're going to try and move the leg joint and it's too stiff and they feel like they're going to break it, and they just don't have as much fun playing with the figures anymore. And that's the point where we're getting at, is they're either really loose or they're really stiff, and it's just not a lot of fun to play with, in my opinion. What's your thoughts, Trey?
That's a good point. I was sitting there thinking, I almost said disagree, and I think about just I feel like they're probably, yeah, like even earlier on Mattel, just that, I think it goes back to like the pinless joints. And I mean, as a kid, like, do you even really care about interchangeable hands and stuff that much? Like, really, like, would it be ideal? Yes,
I
I
was just
guess,
saying
but
that the other day to you. Like, what do they do with all these interchangeable hands? Now,
yeah,
granted,
that's a good
I
point.
love the interchangeable hands.
Yeah,
Give me
correct. I mean,
interchangeable
yeah, if
hands,
you're,
please.
yeah,
But
like if you want, I want Kurt Angle pointing, or I want, Roman Reigns acknowledge me or whatever. And like, yeah, back in the day, if Jack, let's just say Jax never lost a license, or let's say Jax or Roman Reigns came up in the Jax era or whatever, they probably would give him a fist and a hand, or maybe they would give him the little, hand articulation, like where he can hold a microphone or whatever. But
yeah,
even then, they would do, they gave John Cena the "you can't see me" hand and stuff like that. But they would probably give him a pointing finger hand and then maybe a mic holding hand, or one of the other. And they'd have to choose, and that's just like something you had to kind of get over, when you were
yeah.
playing with your figures. But I don't know. Yeah, I could see that in terms of durability. I could definitely see that. And I mean, I don't know what it would be like to play with like an Ultimate Edition or an Elite in the modern day, and sense of like, yeah, we pose our figures around and, we fed it, and, you make videos and stuff like that. I can't imagine what it would be like to classic play. So, I mean, you have some experience doing the hand fed type matches. So are the figures completely busted once the match is over?
Uh yeah, it's just the fact that some of them, most of them these days are not posable enough, or they could be too posable, where it's just loosey goosey and you're just having a hard time like doing anything with it because it's just too much.
Yeah.
But what I say about, even like with Jax, it's like more playability. They had all these play sets and stuff that would go hand in hand with your figures, and it was just a
Mm.
much funner time for the kids, I feel, back then. Now it's more like catered to the collectors. But yeah, I feel like they're not as fun to play with, especially now they've upgraded the basics, which I love, and the leg articulation makes me even want to buy them. But, back in like 2017 when they did that and they made the basic statues, I can't imagine that kids would enjoy playing with those.
Yeah. The lesser articulation, the ankles,
Yeah,
the
they were
stiff,
statues at a
like,
certain point.
you remember, like, you couldn't even bend the knee. Like, you bend the knee and the kick pad would literally snap off sometimes on some of those basics. Like, unplayable. You know what? I flip.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm flipping because,
wow.
like,
Okay. I
like,
convinced him.
as a kid, like, some of my greatest memories are playing with the Jax figures.
Yeah.
And I guess, like, I'm thinking of, like, details and stuff, but yeah, dude, the lack of play sets is honestly concerning. Like, like, even
Yeah.
like 10 years ago, they were giving us way better play sets. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Slambulance, incredible. The Wrecking vehicles are great, but where's
Yeah,
like
they're
the
great.
stage and the, like a gorilla area, or you know what I mean? Like, they could do
Yeah.
some different cool things.
And I understand that like it's harder to get them in stores or ringside or something, but like there should be a push to get those out, because you got to think about the future collectors. How
Yeah,
do you hook them when they're younger to make them future collectors? You can't just be focused on all the older folk like us. So yeah, I
that's a good
feel
point.
like, especially with the rise of technology too, you got to influence them to want to play with their figures and use their imagination. So I think there should be a greater focus on that for sure. And yeah, the QC issues need addressing so that the playability is better for the younger ones.
Yeah, that's a very base Nate right there. That's
Base
a
Nate, all
Yeah,
right.
base Nate. That's Such a great take right there. I love it. All right. Yeah, great segment right there. Let's move on to prompt 4, unless you got anything to add.
No, I think we about covered it.
Okay. We're moving
Let's get into
on
it.
to prompt 4. Prompt
Okay.
4. Ultimate editions are better overall than elites. Now, there's a lot of ways this can go. And geez, I'm sitting here thinking about it. I'm going to have to think about it. But yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
all
dude.
right.
No. Yeah, dude. Where ultimate editions are like a love-hate relationship, man. I just think that, I mean, you got to account for, like, yes, the extra accessories are great. I'm a sucker for butterfly joints. I love that you can bring the shoulders in and, like, you know as well as I do, RKO poses, stone cold stunners, things like that are really nice to have butterfly articulation, right? But
They can be very loose though.
they get loose. The shoulders are not 100%. They do not bat 1,000. They always get loose when you could literally just turn the figure and the shoulder will fall. That's unacceptable. And then I just think that a lot of the torsos are just aesthetically awful. Aesthetically, they don't look.
100%.
They just don't look good, man. And I don't really know the full answer. I think the Tiffany Stratton and like some of these other, the women's Ultimate Editions are taking steps. But
Yep.
yeah, man, I think elites, I think overall are better. And I do hate that like Elite 125 Cody, he came with like nothing in the packaging. But you take like Defining Moments Penta. You could put Defining Moments Penta up against any Ultimate. He's probably going to hold his own. You know what I mean?
The Elite might actually be better than the Ultimate Penta. I could see.
It could absolutely be. We're going to see it, Mania. I guarantee it. We're going to see it here in a couple weeks, and I hope that I'm not devastated in the booth.
As far as my opinion on it, I think, the torsos are definitely unaesthetic. They just look weird most of the time. And a lot of the times they're way too big, and they're like, the Ultimates are like out of scale with the Elites as well.
Yes, that's such a big deal, man. No, I feel like not enough people are talking about this.
Well, that's what My Damn Creators are for. We're here. We're here to talk about all the stuff.
Dude, the Ultimate scale, like this HBK, I literally have it right here. This Shawn Michaels right here is such a good figure, but when he's as tall as Scott Hall, it's like, what? I mean, great execution of the figure, but he's too tall. Like, what do I do with that? I mean, the boots are great.
I feel like it's the torsos. They're just way oversized on all of them. And the articulation isn't good on these Ultimate torsos anyways. Like, I feel like some of the Elites have better like articulation in terms of bending over. I don't care about like a 360 swivel. Like, what's that going to do for me? I don't really care about that. I think a lot of people have problems with the drop down hips. I think it's a great innovation. I love that extra posability, but it can be very loose for people and they get annoyed with that. And I think all those problems combined, I think Elites just tried and true are just great for the most part. And besides the extra accessories with Ultimates, sometimes you don't get a ton of accessories with Ultimates that you would with an Elite. But I think that's my opinion, that Ultimates are better than Elites. No,
I think I agree.
That's not my opinion. Wait. Elites. My opinion is that Elites are better than Ultimates overall.
There you go. So that's prompt number 4. You have anything else you want to add there? I think that's, for the most part, I think that's where I stand there. We got
same.
The 5th prompt here. Okay. So this one kind of goes back to the Mattel is currently making the best, but it's slightly different and we can explain it. So you have the golden era of wrestling figure collecting has already passed us by. So this could mean, I thought 2015 through 2018 was the golden era. I think that, this era was better than this era. Do you think that this is the best era to be a wrestling action figure collector? Now, you got to take into account multiple brands out there. It's not just WWE and Mattel. This could include, other brands and things like that. So that's something to talk about or think about. But I think I'm ready. I don't know. I feel like I'm on the fence, but
I think you said something that has motivated my decision. So I think I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That
All right,
it's
ready?
past us by. Agree or disagree?
Yeah. All right. The
Okay.
golden era of wrestling action figure collecting has already passed. That means that
Okay.
no point in the future will it be better than it's already been at some point in the past.
Oh.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough.
Whoa. What about just currently? Golden era has passed us by currently because we can't predict the future. We don't want to cast doom on, the action figure
point.
space. I
Like,
have hope.
Yeah, if you agree that the golden era of wrestling figure collecting has already passed, that means that you believe that, with raising prices and all this other stuff going on, like there's not going to be a better time than what is currently happening or what has already passed us by. That's why it's a tough one.
Yeah.
Ooh, God, this one's tough. This one's tough.
That is tough.
Yikes. Yeah. All right. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Ready.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, man. I hate it. Yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think that when we had AEW figures coming out pretty regularly, you had the Supreme line going, even these third-party companies that are still currently putting stuff out, but yeah, I mean, you even have like Collect Major and what they're doing over there. You have like just so many things that are happening at once that I think that maybe 2 to 3 years ago was probably the best. Like right when before Mattel switched factories and we had double jointed arms and we were getting, we had some cool ultimates coming out. I don't remember what ultimate line they put out last in the last factory. But I don't know. I'm not necessarily worried. I think like, the collecting market, new collectors are coming in every day. But I don't know, man, in terms of just the quality at the price point, at the, the innovation, the available lines, I think we may be cooked as far as everything else is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about, the AEW figures, that is a peak time to get all those characters from AEW as well as Mattel figures, and AEW pushing Mattel to do some different stuff. And you also talk about Toys R Us being gone now and how much, that affects everything and not getting as many play sets and things of that nature. So, yeah, seeing as those things might be gone and done for good, I have hope for the future, but it looks like I'm gonna have to, say that it might have passed us by.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. That's a good point. And again, I feel like every day I go to Walmart or I buy a new figure, it's like the price is going up 3 cents, 4 cents. And it's just I don't know, man. It just sucks. Like it sucks that, increasing prices, all these different things that play into collecting. And yeah, I think we have passed the golden era. I think or if we haven't passed it, like the golden era. It has, if it was up here, it's like slowly coming to a stop as every day that passes, it's stopping. If that makes sense.
Yeah, unfortunately.
All righty. Well, let's see. That was number 5. We're moving on to prompt number 6 here. So yeah, here we go. Prompt 6: exclusives take the fun out of collecting.
Ooh.
Exclusives take the fun out of collecting. So Comic-Con exclusives, Walmart exclusives, Target exclusives, online exclusives, whatever, they take the fun out of collecting. 3, 2, 1. Hold it up. I disagree. I disagree here.
I can see why you disagree. I'm just gonna say because I'm in Australia and I've like made a video about this like way in the past, but like it would frustrate me because I would have to pay like enormous prices on eBay just to get like the NXT Elite Aleister Black back in the day. And they used to have like Toys R Us exclusives and all these figures that I would want, but I would have to pay just like exorbitant amounts of prices for those figures, and that would really annoy me and that would ruin collecting for me. So but I could understand the other side of the spectrum is that like people enjoy hunting those exclusives and it's fun for them and it's more exciting when they find something. But for me and the people who just can't get access to those figures and they're just higher price, I think it does ruin collecting a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, dude, 100%. Yeah, with just all the different things, the shipping methods and just the market not being available or, these different things. And, sometimes for US collectors, they get the shish end of the stick in certain cases. Probably not near as much, definitely not near as much as international collectors for sure. But, they do experience that from time to time with certain figures and different things like that where, they can't get them or they sell out or, you can't get your hand or scalpers or whatever the case is. That would be actually a really good prompt for another day about scalpers. Maybe we can cover that for sure. I'm
Sure.
sure we'll get to that at some point. But yeah, I think mainly my disagreement is just, maybe years ago I might would agree. I don't know. It's just I don't know, like the thrill of the hunt's fun, but yeah, I guess I don't know. Yeah, I think the thrill of the hunt, and I think that I don't think you need to buy every single thing. But then
No.
again, if you don't buy every single thing, there's something out there that somebody wants. And so, just because I don't want it, Jim Bob down the street might want it and he can't get access to it. 100% makes sense that, that would be very frustrating because I've been there a
Yeah.
thousand times. I've been there where, you really want to figure it's exclusive. You can't get it. And yeah, I mean, like Monday Night Wars figures usually until the past maybe recent year or two, I find my stores finally started stocking them. But before that, I could never find them, and I was so behind on finding figures, and I don't know. Yeah, I think it goes back to just like the thrill of it and having different things that kind of fit different places. I don't know.
Yep.
Um, Next up we have our seventh prompt, and we have modern figures won't be as valuable in the future. So this is Elite 125 Cody probably won't be worth as much in the future or what have you, just a recent example. But
Yep.
I ooh, this is tough here. God, I don't know. I
Is
get
it tough?
yeah. All right, here we go. Ready?
It's tough for you. All right.
No, I don't
Count it
think so.
down.
3, 2, 1. Yeah. I say
Yeah.
agree. You can go ahead first on this one. What are you thinking?
I think with the introduction of, what do you call it?
Re-release
It's
lines,
blanket. Re-release lines. Yeah. And
greatest hit
I woke up,
all,
yeah, I
Legends
woke up
greatest
one
hits.
day when it was like Comic-Con or something where they announced these re-release lines. Granted, it's a great opportunity for people to get those figures that they missed out on. And they're capitalizing on, the after sale market. They want that money rather than, people selling off their old figures. But man, it's just like, okay, you have a representation of a superstar or a figure, and you really want that now. But like in the future, it's going to get re-released, it's going to get redone. Is it really as valuable? Is it really going to be as valuable in the future now, knowing what they're doing? And if Mattel has a license for a long time, they're going to do different iterations of that same character. So if you don't like that figure of that representation of the character, you don't actually need to buy it now. If you can wait a year, 2 years, 3 years. And yeah, I mean, even Jack's figures now, do their prices hold up? Are they as
I don't
valuable as
even
they
I don't
used to
even
be?
yeah, I don't even know. I think, you'd have your one-offs, but I mean overall I
No.
couldn't tell you. I wouldn't think so. I mean, of course you have your wrestlers that are deceased or something like that maybe. But yeah, as far as the modern figures, there's just if a figure bangs, they're going to re-release it. That's just kind of how it is, if a figure,
And that's fine. But now that we know that, now you can start moving a little bit differently in how you collect.
facts.
Because
That
yeah,
yep, 100%, 100%. And but I mean, I think we've probably both been on the thing where it's like, we don't really collect for value. Like, have we ever collected for value? Not really. Like, you may pick up an extra or something here or there just for shishes and gigs, but it's not,
yeah.
oh, I'm holding on to this because I'm retiring on this one, baby. You know what I mean? And I guess people, I've witnessed people like the WrestleMania superstar John Cena, like,
Oh
people
man.
they flip it for a quick buck. Like, okay, people hustling. It's like the Pokemon card epidemic. I get it. Like people are hustling out here. It's not my thing. I think you probably look like a lunatic scrambling and yanking out of people's hands and doing all that crazy mess. But I mean,
Well, that's kind of like immediate resale value.
correct.
But like
Correct.
it was nice to know that like you had something valuable. And now
Yeah.
it's like not really that valuable. So it's
Mhm.
like,
Yeah, it kind of
you
it
know,
kind of just
it kind of
sucks the
sucks in
air
a
out of
way.
it. Yeah, it
Yeah.
like sucks the air out of just like SES Punk is a perfect example. I mean, I guess unless you really have that thing mint on card, OG packaging, really good condition, or maybe autographed by Punk, it's like, I don't know. Like you have the old version, it's like cool. He can't even reach his chin with his hand. You know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. That's just I don't know. But we're moving on to our final agree to disagree prompt here with is pick fedding dead? We're kind of getting into the pick fed realm right here to end this segment off. And I think I'm ready.
Okay. Count it down.
Ooh. Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm ready. All right.
All right.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, my thing with agree is I think that it's more of a different platform.
You should explain what pick fed is first for the people who don't know.
All right, so pick fedding basically is stop motion but less steps. It's, it's like taking a photo of a figure, running an action figure show with photographs basically.
Mhm.
And I think just that classic version just isn't as lively as it once was. I feel like you used to have so many different feds and people going, and I think with just the added innovations and everything, it's hard to maybe develop a stronger audience with just a traditional pick fed in the modern day, just because people are, looking for all of the different, additions and the flash and just the different
Mhm.
elements that people can add in there with the commentary and just the stylization of it. And I think that there are so many great video feds out there now. It's called VidFed nowadays because I just think it's so much more immersive, with the perspective or the aspect ratio. And I think the video just really sucks you in there. And I don't know. I think pick fedding can still thrive, but it would just be on a different platform. I think you're looking at more of Instagram stuff or maybe a short TikTok style video or something like that. I don't know if just the whole genre of it is just alive and well, I guess is what I would say. It's just a lot different landscape nowadays.
Yeah, I think it was a product of its time. It was like the only way that like people knew how to make an action figure match without doing full stop motion. And to me, it was just kind of like a picture slideshow, especially with the music. And then
Yep.
the innovations, I started, the VidFed style, which, a lot of people adopted. And it's definitely more immersive, real-time actions happening. Let's get this straight though. Pick fed still has its place. I certainly use pick fed elements. You certainly use pick fed elements. It is necessary in what we do if we don't want to do stop motion. But doing full straight pick fed is kind of dead, and there's nobody really doing full straight pick fed that's really lighting the world on fire. And there's not a lot of people in that community anymore. It's a little less than it was back in the day. But yeah, unfortunately, we both agree that pick fed might be dead. So
Yeah, it's crazy too because I just feel like there's just been so much shift. It's almost like I mean, like it's just like a completely different style, and I think it's with anything, it had like it was a part of a timeline kind of, and like the progression of things and how they, slightly change or improve and adjust. And I think there's still I follow pick fedders on Instagram because they do some really awesome creative things. And, I still think there's aspects of it that are good. I just don't think it's in the same realm as, it used to be. It's just is what it is. It's not, it's not a shot. It's just like kind of what it is. It's just something that's happened.
yeah, Instagram's a perfect place for it because it is inherently like a picture kind of slideshow thing, and it
Correct.
works perfectly on Instagram. But now
Mhm.
with the innovations of like the production and actually making you like immersed in a full show, like
Mhm.
with editing, commentary, sound effects, it's separated itself a little bit.
Yeah, I think also just this quick little end here. When I almost kind of like it on Instagram because you know how you can make those layouts and it's like you don't
Yeah.
even have to slide or it doesn't have to change. You can literally
Hmm.
watch the spot happen in front of your eyes, like picture by picture. You know how they'll lay it
Yeah.
out like 6 in a row or whatever. And I think that's really I don't know. I can enjoy that. And I like seeing people do spot fest and stuff like that with that. It's really fun.
Hmm.
All righty, man. That is agree, disagree. I like that segment. I think that's a staple right there. I think that we can
Yeah.
get into all kinds of topics and debate back and forth on what we think. And I'm sure at some point we'll have some sort of screaming match or something like that, of course. The next thing we're moving into is every episode, we're going to try to have a topic discussion that we get into where we're going to talk 10 minutes or so about, a certain topic. And today it is going to be about Mattel WWE figures and their ab articulation specifically, or just the movement in the torso / diaphragm and just how that operates or what we like about it, dislike, whatever the case was. But I think I would plant my flag, man. This is something I say in my reviews all the time. If I could change something about the line as a whole, it would be the ab articulation. It would be being able to get that deeper crunch and just, I don't know, man. I just feel like it's lacking. If you compare it to any major action figure on the market, especially, your Hasbro Marvel Legends or I don't really know about the DC figure. Somebody can help me out. But Mattel's making DC now. I'm sure their ab crunch on their Batman is going to be better than their ab articulation on their Roman Reigns or their Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I would hope that they have experimented in trying to get it deeper. I think surely there's got to be some way to get, especially on the elites, a deeper ab crunch. Like the new Penta Elite is fantastic, looks incredible. The one thing holding it back is that ab crunch. If we could just get a little bit more, man, it would be the perfect figure. But yeah, even the ultimates, yeah, I don't like the ab crunch or the
Ultimates,
ultimates. I don't like the look.
brother. I mean, Ultimates don't even hold up. Like Ultimates don't even like. This is a full ab crunch, man,
Yeah,
brother.
that's not good enough,
Like
especially
that's
for the
not.
Ultimate
Like,
Edition line.
and like you can like bend over like that, pause. But you know what I mean? Like it's just not there. And I mean, the ball joint in the crotch or the ball joint at the hips, like we saw in Tiffany Stratton, we seen on Rhea Ripley, China. I think that's a step in the right direction. It's still not perfect. It's still not as deep maybe as I would want. Pause again. That's just ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, I just think that I don't know, man. There's got to be a better way. And I know it's tough, but in modern day action figure collecting, it's almost like a double jointed arm or something. You have to be able to be competitive in that area. And you get a Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man can get such a deep cut. Now I know he's wearing, a damn skin tight suit and he's Spider-Man. So of course he's gonna be but I want to be able to do a package pile driver. I want to be able to do, a 450 and not it look ridiculous or look dumb. You know what I mean? And as
Yeah.
well as I do, when you're fetting and you're posing and stuff, you have to manipulate angles pretty heavily sometimes to get the shot you want because the figure just can't do it physically.
Yeah, it can be very frustrating. So, yeah, that is a huge thing that I hope Mattel addresses. I would love to talk to, the designers to see if that's something that they've like tried to look into or they've experimented and it just couldn't work. But yeah, I'd be very interested to see what the answer is to that. But yeah, that's something that should definitely be addressed.
Yeah, I honestly maybe outside of I mean the ball joint and the head sculpt. I know we're talking about the ab articulation just as it is, but I don't have that Bray Wyatt just yet. I've heard that it's not the greatest ball hinge ever, but you know, just these innovations, I think they're necessary. I really think that they would add a good quality to the line. You know what I mean? I think that that's really, you talk about double jointed arms, you talk about interchangeable heads, interchangeable hands, all these innovations. I think the next step would be an addition to the ab articulation. And again, just like you, don't really have necessarily like I can give my input or I can give you a thought, but I don't really know what the answer is. I don't know if there's a way you could, on the Ultimate, you have that lower torso. I think where the ball joint comes out of the lower torso, I think if you cut around it so it can have a better range of motion might would help. But I'm not in that arena. I'm not designing figures every single day, so I couldn't tell you, but I don't know. I don't know. It definitely needs improvement though.
Yeah, I mean, especially the way the Ultimates look, I'm not sure what they could really do. Like, they don't look that good, anyways. But the Elites, I would hope there's some way, without compromising the look, that it could, bend over just a little bit more. That would be nice. But then again, the discussion about the Ultimates or the Elites being better than the Ultimates, it proves to be true with the Elites having more ab articulation.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it just like I think it just gets so tough because without like it goes back to the Spider-Man again, the way that they cut the abs on the Spider-Man is they have an upper diaphragm and then the lower is cut, deep into the like into the crotch, which wouldn't work on like John Cena jorts. You couldn't cut that. It would look ridiculous. You have to think of a
Yeah.
different way of doing it. So we're moving on, I guess, unless you have anything else to add. You have anything else to add you want to add?
No, I think we made our point there. Definitely needs to be addressed.
Yep. All right. So topic discussion. Now, our next segment here is going to be a segment. So we're going to have a different thing. It's probably going to be a few different segments that kind of go on rotation. And one of them is going to be Mount Rushmore. So this segment's called Mount Rushmore. We're going to have some other ones. We plan on doing some brackets. We have some different segments we're going to involve where it's going to be like a tournament style bracket where we go back and forth and maybe we crown somebody. If we have a guest, we'll have them come in and we have some fun things planned for guests and things, which should be really fun. But this next segment is called Mount Rushmore. So basically, with Mount Rushmore, we're going to take a category, whatever the category or prompt is, and then you have to select 4 of that prompt. Let's just say the prompt was, worst head sculpts you've ever seen, or, best this, best that, all these different things. Mount Rushmore, we each have to give our 4. I guess we can go back and forth giving 1 each until we get to the 4th, if that's good with you.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
You want to go
So
first?
Yeah, let's give them the prompt here first.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore today is going to be the 4 best wrestling figures you have gotten the last couple years. So maybe the last couple years, the 4 best wrestling action figures that you have obtained. You got to have the figure. That's one of the rules, though. You got to have the figure. You got to have, played with it, whatever the case is. You had to have had it. You're going first. Here we go.
Okay. Well, number 1 is going to be the Defining Moments Penta. I just got it. I just filmed with it. It's fantastic. Nothing I can really say other than the ab crunch. It's incredible. One thing, though, I would like to add about the Penta, I would love if they did some sort of cloth or like a leather, like, the little sash, what do you call it, that he has?
I call it the waist wrap or the
waist wrap.
Yeah, waist
wrap.
wrap.
I think if they experimented with that, it'd be better articulation on it. But yeah, Defining Moments Penta for sure. What's yours?
My number 1 is also Defining Moments Penta. I think that is, yeah, man. I think that's just an all-timer, really. I think that is going to go down as one of the all-time best elites. We look back fondly on different elites through the years. I think that's going to be one of those that people always go to.
Yep. And now
my
number 2.
You want to go or you want me to go?
I'll go 2.
Okay, go.
The Ultimate Edition Series 30, Seth frickin' Rollins.
Wow.
Beautiful. The entrance gear, the glasses, the head scans, figures incredibly posable.
Mm-hmm.
What can you really say about it? About maybe besides, the use of the heads, but they're good heads. But yeah, incredible Seth.
Yeah, I was going to say Seth Rollins. I think the only con you could really have on that is reuse of, the same head sculpts over and over again. My number 2 is the Monday Night Wars Stone Cold Steve Austin Ultimate Edition. It won Ultimate Edition of the year last year for me. Just absolute magic, absolute cinema, fantastic figure. I think it's I know that people will say maybe the upcoming Ultimate is the definitive Austin, which is fine. I think it's the definitive Austin. It's a definitive Stone Cold figure. Just that all-timer again, just one you look back to. It's like that figure was damn good. They finally got the formula right. They finally got, it's a 2-in-1. You can go jorts and whatever. You can go wrestling gear. Just a really fun figure. The only thing that sucks is it doesn't have a vest, but I'm okay with that, I think.
Yeah, it's a good pick. My pick is for the next one is Elite 121 Carmelo Hayes. Incredibly
Hey.
great posable figure. Head scan's pretty good. Like the likeness, I think it's better than his first Elite. And comes with cloth good shirt, awesome attire, and yeah, very, very nice figure. What about you, Trey?
Yeah, dude, that figure really, I think he got most shocking figure of 2025 for me. That figure,
Shocking?
yeah. So I did a category with the Dammy Awards, and we did most shocking figure of the year. It was just, you take a figure that maybe you were kind of sleeping on, maybe you weren't really giving a second thought, and you got it in hand, you're like, oh damn, this is actually, he's got a little something special going on there, young man. And
Yeah.
so that figure, yeah, that shocked me. I had so much fun with that figure in the review. I paired like the starting lineup's basketball goal and the basketball and was having him dunk and shoot and just do all these fun things. Banger figure. If you see that figure out, it's hitting retail right now. You need to grab Carmelo Hayes. That's a great plug right there. That's a great pick.
100%.
My number 3 is Elite Series 115 Tyler Bate. Okay,
Yeah.
this one Elite Figure of the Year for me last year. I just thought that it was just like a perfect representation of the character. Great attire, great posability. I liked how, I don't know, it was almost how detailed they got with the formula. It's the Austin Theory torso, but I like the use of it for Tyler Bate. It's got larger thighs, no knee pads, so he can, bend his knees. It's got, the entrance robe, solid head sculpt. He's not smiling like a goofball. Just a really, really strong figure. I had a lot of fun with that figure.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect representation of him. Great likeness, overall great figure. My number 4 is the Ultimate Edition Tiffany Stratton. And I think the head scans are great. The attire is fantastic. All the new molding, the briefcase accessory. I think it's a great Tiffany Stratton figure and a great Ultimate.
Dude, I almost put that on my list. I was this close to putting it on my list. So that's hilarious. But it's also good that, we have a lot of the same figures here, which kind of speaks to the quality of those specific figures. Because I think that, I feel like if two collectors come together and they're like, yeah, that's damn good, then I mean, Mattel should be jotting that down. It's like, what did we do here? Let's repeat that. But that Tiffany Stratton, the upper torso on that is crazy detailed, like with the sculpts and the metallic paint.
Yep.
Not to mention the ab articulation is a lot better than other figures. It's got the ball joint. Yeah, that's a great pick. Good pay, base Nate right there. My number 4 is one we've already talked about. Actually, it was your second pick. I put Ultimate Edition
yeah?
Series 30 Rollins on there. Yeah, man. Yeah, just like you said, I have it right here. This figure, oh God, I don't want to knock something over. Yeah, this figure is just, I mean, my God, man. If you're a Rollins fan, I mean, this is just money. Again, the only thing you could really say is that reuse of the head sculpts, which we know about. I understand it, but damn, this is a good one.
For sure. Yeah. Definitely. If you need a Seth Rollins in the figure collection, that's the one to get. And it's an Ultimate, It's actually one of the Ultimates that look really good.
Yeah, and I think that kind of goes back to, some of these Ultimates, their torsos just look horrendous, but he's one of those guys I think that can pull off this torso. I think, it's a good torso. It's the Cody Rhodes torso, things like that. I think that, yeah, they nailed this one, man. I loved it. And it's something like the jacket, man. The feel of the jacket just feels different than everything else. I don't really know how to explain it. It's like a faux snake skin or something. Just crazy good. Yeah, I love this figure. That's a damn good one. He's definitely going to be up there for one of the better Ultimate Editions of 2026 when it's all said and done.
Yep.
So that does it for our Mount Rushmore segment here. I've had a lot of fun here. I think this is the start of something special here. I'm really excited for future episodes, different topics, different things. I think at this point in the show, we talked about doing what, like a mailbag, or maybe submitting questions, something like that here at the end.
Yes, but before we get there, there's one more segment that we've yet to cover, and that is the Mattel, I don't know if you call it mishap, botch job.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
Which
completely...
each week we're going to highlight, a mishap, a funny thing, that has happened, released in figures, and we're gonna, shed some light on it, have some fun, poke some
Absolutely.
fun at the history of the
Well,
Mattel line.
do you want to do the one that we had written down that we kind of cut because we didn't know about the time, just for shishes and gigs before we get out of here?
Yeah, go for it. Let them know.
Okay, so we were going to have this segment, and we'll bring it in, Mattel mishaps here, and it's going to be about previously done figures from like years past that maybe people still talk about to this day, or just these things that come up in conversation if you talk about the line. And the first one we wanted to bring to your attention is the Roman shoulder tattoo gap. So back in the day, they used to make Roman. I mean, they've been making Roman Reigns since what, 2013, something like that. Yeah. And back in the day, man, he's had the tattoo for a very long time up there in the shoulder. But back in the day, they couldn't cover that damn ball peg up there or that shoulder. And you would be left with the biggest gap between his shoulder and the tattoo starting. And it used to drive collectors crazy. I mean,
it drove me insane.
I mean, it was so bad. It was so bad. Do you have any specific examples or things you remember about all that?
Well, yeah, like ever since the beginning, I'm pretty sure like it always had that gap. Maybe the first few Shield figures, it wasn't a gap, but I just cannot believe that just like went through and there was this big shoulder gap that didn't make any sense. And then there was this one basic that released one year, which was a really nice basic that did have the shoulder filled in, and I feel like everybody got that and made their fix-ups and stuff. But then there was also this one time, I think it was Elite 56 Roman Reigns, the biggest botch job. I don't know if it was budget or something. It was a conscious choice to leave out the whole chest tattoo and have the shoulder gap because he had a vest and they thought it'd hide it. But you could still see there was no tattoo and he was poking through bare skin.
Was it Elite 65 with the red?
No, it's the 56 with the white soles on the shoes.
Okay, yep. Okay. That dude, I remember that.
Honestly,
yeah, I forgot about that. And then they also did it with the back tattoo later, where they forgot the back tattoo or didn't include the back tattoo. That happened later.
Did they? I think they just weren't up to date at that point.
Maybe, but I want to say that we got a new Roman based off an event where he had the back tattoo and they didn't include it. But I could be wrong.
Really?
I could be. Yeah, I could be mistaken there. But yeah, dude, the shoulder gap tattoo used to drive me nuts. Elite 45 Elite 45. I almost said Elite 45 Rollins. That's just the first figure you think of. But the silver, I think the Network Spotlight also had the gap. There was just so many Roman Reigns.
All of them did.
Yeah, and it's crazy now that you don't have to worry about that. At least I don't think so. But that was a huge deal. It's like they finally fixed the shoulder gap on Roman.
Yeah.
Like
sometimes you still see it a little gappy in these past few years, but they've done a fine job of fixing that mistake. But man, it took them a long time.
Yeah, it did. That was definitely worth mentioning on the Mattel mishaps right there, man. That is that's insane. But yeah, that is Mattel mishaps. And again, we're gonna try to get the show segmented and get it all, in order. If there's things that happen in the community, maybe some giant news or something, we'll probably cover it here, in a segment or something like that, depending on what happens or what have you. But I still plan on doing news videos and doing all the different stuff for reveals and stuff. And we'll probably, cover some different reveals here and there. But, this show, we want it to be, just a place where all collectors of all the different realms of the wrestling figure collecting can come and just listen and discuss and get in the comment section and agree with our takes, disagree, whatever, and just have a lot of fun. And what do you think?
Yeah, I'd love for people to comment down below and tell us what you guys want us to talk about and any topics. Do you want more Fed related stuff, action figure Feds? Or do you want more stuff about collecting like this? We'll have guests on the show. We'll just be talking, talking behind the scenes stuff. And along those lines, my buddy right here, I hear he's making a little bit of a return to the Fed. He's been filming a little bit, cooking something up.
Yeah, I've been filming stuff, man. Been filming stuff. So I guess usually how it goes is I'm up late and I'll just call Nate and I got him there and we're just talking about all different things. The pod, we got, fedding. I'll ask him a question of how he shot something possibly, or just running the, just cutting the shish. And it's been a lot of fun. It's brought me actually some joy just to kind of get in the arena a little bit and see, what's possible and what's not and what have you. But I don't know when this is going to be posted, but hopefully, I don't know if that episode will be posted before this goes up, but yeah, things are in the works. Things are happening behind the scenes, and it's been a lot of fun to get back and grinding the gears or knocking the rust off.
Yeah, I love to hear that. And everybody in the comments, motivate him. Keep filming. We want to see some stuff out there. They've been waiting a long time. As for me, we are on the road to WrestleMania. We're going to Vegas. We're going to be out there. Hopefully, see some of you guys in person. We'll be hanging out at WWE World. And I've got a lot of stuff to do. I'm also making my own WrestleMania action figure show, WrestleMania 2. If you haven't seen the first one, go check it out. It was an extravaganza. But now it is a whole process. I got to change up this whole arena. There's so much to do and so little time. I'm going to visit some family and then going to Vegas. So I'll be like away half the month. So yeah, I just got to get a lot of stuff here. I wish I could start filming a WrestleMania match before going on my trip, but it looks like it's unlikely because there's so much to do with all this. But I'm happy to be doing this podcast and letting you guys know a little bit about that stuff. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed this episode so far.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see what you're cooking up there. And yeah, man, we talk about all the time how I don't know, people just don't understand just the levels to it, I guess, and just how deep it goes and how many different things you have to set up, and things like you have to set up things way in advance, because if you don't, then it will just delay the whole thing. Like right now, or even a few weeks, months ago, you would have had to have thought of something that needs to go on this show so that when you're starting to film, you already have it in hand. Because if you didn't, you'd have to wait for that thing to get in hand before you could actually start the process of filming it. And those little things happen all the time where you just have to keep those ducks in a row to keep it flowing, or things can get out of line.
Well, yeah, a lot of the times, like it's out of your control too. Like I've been organizing stuff for the arena, graphics and things. My guy Wrestlistic, he does a lot for the channel, but I've organized, a WrestleMania crowd. I mean, I could use this, but I would like to have a custom Allegiant Stadium kind of crowd. And I've organized that with him, and I wanted it so I could get it printed, ready to go. But like it took a long time to get him to get it to me, so that's caused a bit of delays. The first Mania 2 was a little delayed because of reasons like that. And yeah, sometimes it's just out of your control. You're trying to organize all this. You're a one-man show doing these action figure fed animation videos. And yeah, there's a lot more behind the scenes than people realize.
Yeah, dude. We even ran into a lot of that leading up to this show, just so many different things, getting graphics made, getting this
Yeah.
made, getting, head sculpts and all these different things that if we could do it ourselves, by God, we would have just done it. But when things are out of your control, all you can do is just kind of direct. And then, you have to play the waiting game, and other people have a different process, and you have to just kind of figure it out and get it going. But I think everything turns out right in the end. It's just, it can be frustrating for somebody who, you're in that creative realm, you're ready to get going, and some things are just simply out of your control. You can't do anything about it. The best thing you can do is just, control what you can control, and then, just work on those other things. And I guess, sometimes I'm sure this has happened to you where it was going to wait too long. You literally had to scrap something, or maybe throw something out, or not do it quite how you wanted because you didn't have everything you needed.
Yeah, for sure. Things like that happen all the time where it's like, oh, you want something to film, but it's like, oh, it's going to take too long. You want to get some stuff out for the people, the audience that are watching your stuff, and you have to go with, the alternative. So, yeah, unfortunately, things like that happen quite often.
Yeah, it's definitely a sticky situation sometimes when you're just, kind of waiting around, and it's not like
Yeah.
these people live down the street, so you have to,
No, that's right.
so I mean, like other people have lives and things they're working on at any given moment too.
Yeah.
So, but I think that is pretty much good. We just hit the hour mark. I'm sure it's a little less than that, but I think we're shooting for these episodes to be around what, like an hour, maybe an hour 15 max, maybe
Yeah.
a little longer if something comes up or something we need to discuss. But I think for the most part, this is about the money zone. But anyways, man, you have anything else? Again, right here, we'd probably take a mailbag or something like that. But yeah, man, you can follow me at My Damn Toys. You can follow Nate at WSC Stage Creator. Our handles have been on the screen the whole time. We'll plug, links and descriptions the best we can and do all those different things. But yeah, man, we would love feedback on the show if you guys would like. Nate, you have any last words you want to get out?
Thank you guys for watching. It's been a pleasure to get this huge collaboration. My Damn Creators, we are your creators. We are here and we're going to do this weekly, and we are looking forward to what we're cooking up and some interesting conversations. So we'll see you guys next week.
All right, man. Appreciate you guys. Have a blessed one, and I'll see you guys later.